Welcome back to the BA Podcast. It's Mike C-Roc, and I'm here at the Las Colinas Ritz at the February edition of Board of Advisors. I have Corbin Cowan with us. What's up, man?
How's it going, bro?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us.
100%. Love it.
Yeah, so let's talk about, first of all, your role with BA, man. Like, what's going on with that?
Well, the audience doesn't know, but I was an advisor for 7 years with BA. Had a lot of success individually. Took several companies through here. I took a company public on NASDAQ as part of the capital markets team, all with relationships that I developed at BA. And one day I sat down and I really tried to inventory the relationships in my life, and it seemed like all the most powerful, the most rewarding, both personally, financially, professionally, they were all coming from BA. Mm-hmm. And so about 6 months ago, Mike tapped me on the shoulder. I was between opportunities and called him up and said, hey, I'm kind of just looking to, get into something where I don't have to, raise a lot of money. I'm not really looking to start a new company right now. Can you just introduce me to somebody where I can, help them? And he's like, no.
And you're like, what?
I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're going to come work with me. So I jumped over to be part of the executive team and really help people that are coming in have that same type of experience where they can cut through the noise, and I can help them meet the right people and get deals done.
And show them what you did
while
you were a member.
Right.
When you mentioned advisor, board of advisors is a member is an advisor, just for the audience. So they
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a member, then you went to
be part of the executive team.
Part of the executive team, but show people what you already experienced and show them how you did it.
Right.
And how they can get the most out of this.
100%.
Which is something that I talked to Mike about. I'm like, man, a lot of people don't know how to network.
Right.
And
so, so many organizations just rely on the person coming in to network through the organization. Mm-hmm. And it takes 6 months, 9 months, a year to get your, bearings and start to develop relationships when I'm meeting. One, I know all the people that have been around because I've been around, for 8 years. And two, I'm meeting all the new people coming in. So I'm in the perfect position to make deals happen, make introductions happen, and fast track that success for them. So
well, again, most people don't know how to network. They come in, a lot of times there's takers, right? And then there's people that don't take, but they just think that things are just going to automatically come to them.
Right.
And really what it comes down to is being a servant, coming in, what can I help people with? How can I just build relationships with people? And you've done that, and you guided people in through that. So one thing I noticed too is if you don't have somebody in your position handling this in a community, people that don't know how to get business will blame the organization and say, oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Right.
And they don't take any responsibility. But if they just took responsibility to figure out how to be a better relationship builder and look for ways to serve people, makes all the difference in the world. So as a member, when you were doing these things, what kind of business were you in at the time?
So I had several different companies. The last one was a medtech company that we ended up going public on NASDAQ. But I've always been a capital syndicator. I would, raise money for a deal, get into that, and then be on the executive team and see it through. I wasn't like a multiple deal a year type of a guy. I was, I would put a deal together and go after it,
Yeah. How did you get to doing that in the first place? Like, what catalyzed your entry into that?
I started out of school in financial services.
Okay.
So I thought that was the avenue to, be around money, to put money together and that sort of thing. And quickly realized that in that space that you had handcuffs on and you couldn't really do the things. And so I exited traditional financial services and started putting my own investments together for my clients, largely around cash flow, real estate and other things. And then that led into, doing individual deals with, starting companies and things like that.
Okay. Gotcha. And then what kept you from wanting to start something new? Like, do you think before you came on the executive team here, like what just, you didn't want to go back through that, or like what?
So there's a, a long story that we don't have time for today, but I had experienced a tremendous amount of fraud in the last deal that I'd gone through.
Yeah.
And traumatic.
Yeah, you had,
you know, and I was just like, honestly, I was in a bad spot.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go out there and you know, start over.
Yeah.
In something that, you know, I had to do everything, you know. I mean, you know what it's like being, you know, on the C-level. You're doing everything. You're wearing all the hats,
Yeah.
and all the stress comes to you. And my daughter is a junior in high school, my last one, and I just wanted to, you know, focus on providing the value that I had to somebody that already had a lot of things going.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it was going to be BA.
Right. That didn't even cross your mind before Mike said that?
No.
Oh, really?
Not at all.
And then when he said it to you, how did you react?
Well, I was grateful.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how it was going to go.
Right.
Because I've never really worked for anyone else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, but what I found, even when I had the deal that I thought was going to be my unicorn, and the money was flowing, I was missing something. Like it wasn't clicking. I'd kind of arrived in a financial sense, and I'm like miserable.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah.
But you know, what I realized is that I don't have to be the unicorn, because I'm much more in line with my own kind of fulfillment when I'm helping other people make things happen.
Yeah.
And
what is a unicorn anyway? And why is the unicorn so important? Right?
Well, that's the thing. It's like this mysterious thing that entrepreneurs chase their whole life. And then for the ones that do finally catch it, you know, and take that company to $1 billion or cash out, they realize that they've been chasing an empty dream.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you know, I never thought, you know, losing all of my money would be the best thing that ever happened to me. But I can look back at it now and say, had that not happened, I wouldn't been in the position to, you know, call Mike. And
but okay, so in that, what are some? Because look, when we go through things, there are lessons to be learned, or we wouldn't go through that thing. We would win all the time if we had nothing to lose or nothing to learn. What were some of the big lessons you learned from that incident?
Well, trust is a dangerous thing in business, right? And even though I thought I had partners that I could rely on, you know, you still have to be, I mean, it's sad to say, but you almost have to, you know, feel like somebody's going to, you know, try to wipe you out. And for me, that wasn't a real good place to be. You know, I'm a very trusting person. I give a lot to people. And I think the lesson that I took out of it was I was trying to be the guy. I was trying to build the thing, and I was, you know, and in reality, I was trying to do that so I could serve other people, when in reality, I have the skill set to just serve other people and be fulfilled along the way. And now I know that the money is not what I'm chasing. Right. And so it,
when you chase money, it runs from you, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
I do now.
Yeah. And man, I can relate to this so much. I mean, I've been through it, been in a situation where I made millions and felt trapped because I hated what I was doing.
Yeah.
And didn't want to live my life like that either. I thought, man, I feel like I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing, and now I can't feel good. Like, what's going on here? This is weird. Yeah. And so, and then it takes courage to get back up on the horse. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, I tell people, you know, I had somebody ask me, you know, if you're making a couple $1 million a deal, you know, a year and other stuff, you're going to leave BA. I said, no.
Yeah.
I said, they can't pay you enough. And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, Mike was there to save me from drowning.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm a lifer.
Yeah. I love it. All right. You gave me a paper here. Have some things about income tax recovery and optimization for founders and business owners. So how does this integrate into what's going on with you?
Yeah. So one of the things I started to realize when I got into this role was that all these business owners were really successful. They're coming in, we're talking to them about business. We're talking to them about BA and how we can help them grow the business. And all the business advisory services out there were only focused on growing the business. And the most important thing about being a business owner should be, how much can I take out of the business to, support my family and my legacy, right? And there was this huge disconnect. And I happened to come across a tax strategy firm that opened my eyes to some things that were like available to business owners that I'd been, in finance, in investments, in business for 25 years that I'd never even been exposed to. And it dramatically shifted my perspective on how I should be working with these guys coming in. And so through the relationships again at BA, we were able to kind of come up with some opportunities to, be more strategic about the way that they're taking their income and the things that they're doing with it. And we came up with a strategy that drastically improves their after-tax, income.
So is this a business you started?
It's a business that I invested in.
Okay.
That I brought to BA.
Okay.
That is kind of being birthed right here.
What's it called?
The
business.
The business is Founders First Advisory.
Okay. Founders First Advisory.
But the product is investing in EV charging companies.
Okay.
And so that company is WattUp EV Charger Network.
Okay.
Right. And so by learning a little bit about what the government really wants you to do with your money, you can be more strategic about your investments and how you can capture some of that incentive that the government is putting out.
So basically taking cash flow and put it into investing in electronic EV charging stations, right? And then you get a tax credit for doing that? Like, take us through how that works. High level. The government wants these charging networks and this battery technology that we have in this particular charging unit to be deployed, right? Because it helps the grid. We can store the energy in the battery during peak times, and we can fill it up during off-peak times and sell it during peak times off the battery, right? So it takes pressure off the grid, right? And so, the Inflation Reduction Act gave a 40% incentive for anybody that invests in this type of equipment. They get 40% of their investment back in a tax credit, not a deduction, but a tax credit. So they automatically get a 40% return on investment.
Day one, right?
Yeah.
But it gets even better because if they've paid taxes.
And when they do that, that whole amount stays in the investment. So in other words, so you put $100,000 into it.
Right.
You get $40,000 tax credit.
Yep.
Right? Your $100,000 is still in there.
Correct.
Yeah. So, okay. And then what kind of return can they get? I mean, is expected for that 100,000, let's say. So how does that work?
With this, I'll use a more specific example to this, right?
Okay.
So one charging unit is about $650,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And when you say charging unit, it's like what they have at the Wawas and the gas stations, and you
right.
plug in like the Tesla things.
Yep.
But not necessarily Teslas.
Right. These are different type of chargers, but they'll charge a Tesla. Any EV they can pull
universal.
Up, right? Charge it in 8 to 10 minutes instead of like 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay. And then one of those is about 650,000.
One of those is 650,000.
Okay.
Right. And that's fully deployed in the field, engineering, site work, ready to go.
Okay.
Right. So that earns the investor $260,000. Right. So we have a program that will allow them to enter the contract, and then they get the tax credit, and they can then go back 3 years of taxes that they've already paid that they thought they lost. And if they have that $260,000 in those 3 years back, we fill out the paperwork, the IRS sends that money in to them, and then they use that money that they thought was lost.
Gotcha.
As a down payment.
You're saying go back 3 years if they need to, because if for last year they can use the whole 207,000, that's fine. You're just saying if they don't have enough in that past year. Okay.
They can go back 3. So now Now they've got the piece of equipment worth $652,000 that they use the tax rebate to pay the down payment on. They get 0% financing on the rest, so they still don't have any capital into the deal long term. And they get $652,000 of depreciation this year.
Okay, so wait a minute. They don't have to put the whole $650,000 in. You're saying
They contract to buy it.
the contract to buy it.
The 40% down payment comes from the
They
tax
require
refund.
40% down.
Yep.
Okay, that 40% down is not what the 40% tax credit's based off. It's based off on the contract price, the full $650,000.
You're getting it.
Okay, it sounds like almost too good to be true. That's why I didn't get it at first. Okay, got it.
So now
Got it.
we get the down payment from the tax refund, right?
Yep.
Finance the rest, and they get $652,000 depreciation to write off of income this year.
Okay, one time, the whole full thing, and that's
Well, they
gone,
can,
right?
if they're a business owner and they have that much this year, they can write it all off,
And then, or they can carry it forward.
but they can carry it forward.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. That makes sense. And who handles all the financing and paying the payments and all that kind of stuff?
So then they have a lease back to the company,
Okay.
right? And so the financing goes to the company, but the company is then leasing it back to them. So they get a little bit of cash flow.
Yeah.
But that depreciation creates, in this example, anywhere from $150,000 to $210,000 of tax savings in this current year, depending on what state they're in.
Okay. Gotcha. And you have to put in, like, you can't fractionally own a charging station. It has to be all a whole one.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just for clarification for the audience. Okay, that makes sense. So, and then is there a limit to how many you can do?
No.
Okay. And
So we can do some really, really cool things with, business owners that sold a business and they paid their capital gains tax. They thought it was gone.
Right.
Now we have a vehicle that we can go back and recapture some of that they've already paid and put it to work.
And also people will want to know this. How does it work with you to work with you? Like, do you take a percentage? How's that work?
So we get paid by the equipment manufacturer
As a commission?
as a commission.
Okay,
Right?
got it,
And
got it.
so that's one of the other kind of ways that we differ in how we work with clients is that I perform first,
Mhm.
right? Perform first, invoice second,
Yeah.
right? I've been burned so many times by advisors that had big resumes and big ideas, and they were going to, they sold me the moon, and I paid them for 3 months and never got anything from it, right? So I didn't want to be that,
Yeah.
right? And so I wanted to just show people what's possible, right? And then if you want to do business together, we'll do business together. Great.
Yeah.
If I can save you a couple $100,000 on your taxes this year, fantastic.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to show you how to join board of advisors and grow your business.
Love it. I love it. All right. I got another question on this. So
Yeah.
you buy one, how long does it last? And is there a warranty on it?
About 15 years.
Okay.
So you're leasing it back to the company. It's fully warranted, fully insured. All the operating costs, all the maintenance costs, all that pushes off to the EV charging company.
Okay.
That's putting it into the field.
Gotcha. To keep it operational.
Yep.
But for 15, and how long is the financing?
Financing's for 15. The lease is for 15.
And the warranty's for 15.
And the warranty's for 15. There's an option at the end of 5 years where you can just sell it back to them for whatever's owed on the equipment.
And when you
and
lease it
walk
back to
away.
the company, they handle the finance payments and everything. You don't have to think about anything.
Well, I mean, you still got to make your monthly finance payment.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay. But they're paying
But
you a
they're
lease payment.
they're paying you a lease payment greater than your finance payment.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then-
Yeah.
And it's you got to do if you're going to write it off of active income, you got to be active in the business. So you got to learn about the business. You got to spend a little time. We do a whole educational event that will help you qualify under the IRS guidelines to write it off against active income. If you got a bunch of passive income, it's literally hands off.
Right. Right. Okay. Man, it seems like too good to be true, Carl. What do you think? Wow. I mean, I'm blown away by this. So there was something that happened where there was billions of dollars invested in the EV stations for the United States and nothing ever happened from them. I think Trump was talking about there was like 2 or 3 or 4 installed and it was like billions of dollars. Did you hear about that?
So this
is probably to clean that up.
Exactly. And so there's all this capacity, all this need for infrastructure. Right?
Yeah.
And more importantly, the majority of the EV charging stations that you see out in the field today, the Teslas and all these other brands, they don't have the battery technology. So
so let's talk about that. I had a question on that.
Yeah.
So you have a charging station. It's not hooked up to electric grid.
It is hooked up to the electric grid.
Okay.
Right.
But this has
it's
a
got
battery
a big, huge battery in it.
Okay.
Right. So it can store and pull from the electric grid during off-peak times.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So in California, especially, this is a big deal, right? You have brownouts and all this kind of stuff because too many people are pulling from the grid from 8 to 5.
Right.
Right. So we can pull all night long, store the battery, and then when the cars are coming up during the day, they're buying the electricity from us off the battery.
Okay.
So we've now provided stability to the grid.
And does Teslas do that too, or no? Okay, they're on the grid all the time.
They're pulling. So when somebody plugs that car in, they start pulling from the grid.
Okay.
Right. And and then they stop. Right.
Gotcha.
And the grids don't like to start and stop. They like steady electricity moving off the grid.
And is this the only product that like you can do this with, or is there other ones?
There's several brands that have the battery technology.
I'm talking about the electric vehicle. I'm talking about other than electric vehicle charging stations. Are there other things out there that you could invest in that have this kind of benefit? So
this particular one is geared toward the battery technology.
Yeah.
So the revenue source of the battery technology can be many things. They could be placed at a wind farm. They could be placed at, a solar farm.
Okay.
Right. And that's how that particular revenue model for that battery works. So EV chargers are not the only business model that the battery infrastructure tax credit works with.
And is this a limited time that they have this?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got the great, you said something about it too good to be true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it does sound that way when you hear about it and how we can, go back and, but the reality is that this is legislatively approved, right? This isn't part of the tax code.
Yeah.
This is part of a bill that was passed in Congress.
Yep.
So they've given us until 2033.
Okay.
Right.
That's the time.
So as long as they're in the ground, electrified by 2033, we're good. Now, the big beautiful bill made bonus depreciation that allows us to write off that entire purchase price in 1 year, made that permanent. So until Congress changes the law,
right,
bonus depreciation is permanent.
And that's the whole amount again?
That's the 100% whole amount, 100% of what the purchase price of.
So let's say you don't get the tax credit, but you invest in that only and not take the tax. Like, let's say they didn't have a tax credit. You'd still get the bonus depreciation.
They didn't have past taxes to go collect.
No. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the tax credit, the 40% tax credit.
Right.
Let's say that wasn't even a part of this, but you still had the 100% depreciation. It still makes sense.
It still makes sense.
Like, because you're putting $650,000 out, you depreciate $650,000.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a $652,000 write-off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Obviously, if that were the case, the revenue model would need to be a little bit different to make better ROI.
Yeah, but still.
Right. But still.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a very, very versatile product that, again, was legislatively approved. Congress wants this to happen.
So where can people find out more about this?
So
to work with you or get.
You can always hit me at corbin@boardofadvisors.com. And I mean, that's the best way to work with me. And then my cell phone's 405-229-4052.
Man, I love this. It's awesome. Thanks for sharing with us. A lot of people can benefit from this, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, C-Roc.
All right, that's this episode of the BA Podcast. Your boy C-Roc here with Corbin Cowan. And until next time, make sure you subscribe at the top of your favorite podcast platform or on the YouTube channel. Until next time, C-Roc signing off.